Hello, all you beautiful and enlightened people. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joana Leão. I am a Karmic AstrologY, and my mission is to bring and help people know themselves best with a beautiful ancient language of astrology, hopefully leading them to a more happy and more aligned existence with their soul's mission. Today's video is about the new moon in Scorpio, and it is actually a penumbral eclipse, so like a partial eclipse upon the moon. This eclipse is happening within the 1st to the 7th house, with quite a lot of people on the 7th house in there, and with one specific aspect, apart from the new moon of course, that is the sextile in between Venus and Jupiter. So this eclipse brings our attention towards our relationships, because it's in the axis of Aries and Libra, so ourselves alone in the world and ourselves facing others, how we deal with others, how do we interact with others, but upon the gaze of Taurus and Scorpio. So why am I inviting you to my life? Are you aligned with my values? Are these people aligned with my values? Being a new moon, it means it's a new stage of life, so this is an invitation for you to understand which people do you still perceive as friends. This doesn't mean that friendships need to be ended or need to be done, like, okay, you're not my friend anymore, bye bye. It doesn't mean that. Sometimes it's just a natural distance that occurs because though that person's values is not as aligned with your values as it used to be in the past. Your values change, and so your friends do too. The fact that it takes a partial eclipse of the moon on the 1st house, it means that maybe our sense of intimacy with ourselves and our sense of safety when we are isolated in our kind of quote-unquote secret lives feels a bit rough and feels a bit like stumbling upon something, like we're discovering new territory within ourselves. So we, on one side of the equation, are actually understanding that our values are different and that people are not as aligned with our values as we perceive them to be in the past, but also our interior values and the perception of ourselves and what we are made within when we are alone, and the connection that we have with ourselves in secret and in solitude is not as stable, or is not as it used to be in the past. This is always the sense of any eclipse. It's like you feel that the carpet is pulled from under you and suddenly, oh my god, I have no place to put my feet on. It's like I was living on a cloud and I didn't know. And that's okay. Just by knowing this, sit in quietness, sit in darkness if you like that. Darkness therapy is like perfect for moons in Scorpio, for anything in Scorpio, because Scorpio does thrive on darkness. Scorpio is the sign of the occult. It's when in that darkness, it's when in that realm of obscurity, of silence, of peacefulness, and mostly of solitude, that you understand the sound that exists inside yourself. Like that simple, important voice. A problem that you actually maybe stumble upon is social media. Social media is beautiful. We are more connected than ever. We are able to understand what is life in Somaliland, in Peru. We are able to understand what is a flight attendant's house, or a videographer, or an actor. Well, that we always knew. But like some really interesting lifestyles that we had no idea. And in the past 5 to 7 years, we're more connected than ever with everything, so we now see possibility. Whereas in the past, it was just like, oh, that stuff is just not for me. Those things are just too impossible. Yes, it's definitely my values, but oh, it's so unattainable, I can't go there. And now we are so connected, but at the same time, we need to set new boundaries with this. Because if we really look at our phones, it's 7, 5, 6 hours that we spend on social media. That's too much contact. We are increasingly in need of this solitude, of this in darkness. Inside yourself is dark. If you close your eyes, that's your inside, okay? That is what we need to go back to, especially in such a moon like this. Another aspect that I want to talk about is the fact that the only precise aspect of this new moon, thank God, if we had more precise aspects, this would be too strong, like the other eclipse that we had 5 days ago, is the Venus is sextiling Jupiter. Being Jupiter on the brink of the 6th to 7th house, and Venus on the 8th house, which is the house of Scorpio. This means that we're going to be looking upon people we were intimate with in the past. Basically, we're going to be evaluating our sexual partners and the way that we perceive our sexual preferences. Is this still what I was? Am I ashamed of that thing I've done? Did I have pleasure with that thing I've done? Did I enjoy myself with that person in all levels of our connection, in all levels of our relationship? Is this something that I want to keep on pursuing? Is this something that I want to keep on doing? And yes, people, I'm talking about boundaries within your sexual preferences, of course. Because there is nothing better than just communicating what you want, what you like, and just going after it. And there is always possible to do better. It's always better, it's always possible to do worse. But you have to perceive this. Within our solitude, you see that this is my actual goal. This is how I see a partner. This is how I see and I perceive my intimacy with myself, with others. And intimacy is not only sexual. You can be very intimate on a one-on-one basis with your mom, with your dad, with your brother, siblings, with your best friend, with your business partner. That intimacy comes from sharing your secrets, giving yourself to the other person, fusing yourself with the other, and finding yourself within this discussion, understanding who you are best within this discussion, because you keep on doing this ping pong game of sharing your emotions and really going deep in yourself. Because when you do so, the other person will give you insight, a different insight that you might have had upon yourself. You might be saying that, oh my God, I'm in this work situation and I'm working crazy hours. I love my job, but they're not respecting my contract. But I'm so scared to leave this place because it was so hard to find. It's been my dream job for so long, but it's too much. I mean, I don't work 8 hours a day. I work 16 hours a day, and I've had it. I love it. I love my colleagues, but it's like, it's a never-ending cycle. Work is on WhatsApp, it's on Telegram, it's on my email. From Monday to Sunday, there is not a day where I actually just focus on myself. Well, and your friend says, that's all well and done, but why don't you just say that to your paternal entity? Why don't you just talk to your boss? Why don't you just talk to your colleagues? Why don't you just set boundaries and say, okay, I might be facing being fired, but how am I perceiving my true life and my solitude if I don't set this boundary and say, I want to maybe work a little bit less, or I want to work in a different strategy in here. Is that okay for everybody? Is this attainable for everybody? And in this game of understanding what you want and what you need, that's where you find common ground to actually set your boundaries on this new moon, especially within your relationships. I don't feel that this is going to be a moon very much about work or career-wise, but it's more about relationships, and especially intimate relationships, like romantic ties, I mean. It's like a reset and a re-evaluation of how has my love life been going on since the beginning and how am I doing in that category? Am I being the partner that I want to be? Because the truth is, in order to find the dream guy, in order to find the dream girl, all you have to do is, well, make a list of physical attributes, make a list of emotional attributes, make a list of mental attributes, become that person. This is how you perceive true love. It's as easy as that. How can you want somebody to be attentive and thoughtful and, you know, take the trash out and do all those nice things that you see done when you get home after a very long day of work and you're super tired, if you're not doing them yourself? So if you're not doing them yourself, but you want the other person to do it, you just want a slave, is it? Or, yeah, do all these like sexual desires that I have, but I'm not giving anything back. Again, you just want a slave. That is not a commitment. You need to learn what it is to be on the other spectrum of what you need and of what you like, to actually give it back to your partner. In any relationship, of course, not just a romantic attire, but within your professional relationships, with your family, with your friends. This eclipse, this new moon is here to remind us where we are in the stage of perceiving the people that we want around us, the people we want to be intimate with, the people we want to reach our masterminds. So mastermind is a concept that was developed by Napoleon Hill. You might know him from a book called Think and Grow Rich. It's the book that inspired that film, The Secret. And now it's very, very well known. I think he has more books, but I'm not going to get into that. So he developed the concept of a mastermind. That is, when you have an idea and you fuse your idea with a second person's idea, the debate of both ideas basically create a third concept that is a mastermind. Like two minds unite to form a mastermind. It's like a triangle effect, like two dots on the bases and you reach the top concept that is the mastermind. This is the concept that Libra is here to teach us. As a Libra, you're not interested, or within the Libra season, you're not interested in just expressing your opinion. You're interested in expressing your opinion, grasp the other person's opinion, inform an opinion within these two, and create a third concept. It's so funny that somebody already in history has developed the concept of mastermind, because it's exactly what Libra is here to do. Minding that this new moon is on the Libra house, this is also one of the things that we're learning on this. How are my relationships in accordance with a form of intellectual ties that I wanna create? How are my relationships in sync with the conversations that I want to have, with the debates that I want to have? Like, how is my intellectual property being expressed when it comes to my relationships? And that is the invitation for this new moon. So if you feel the vibe, if you like this content, if you feel that this vibe is for you, please click down on the subscribe button and hit that beautiful ringing bell to keep up to date with what's going on with the sky. Go for it with an open mind, and most of all, because it's in between this axis of the beginning of the zodiac, right? Like Aries, Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, this is very much first and second chakra. So sacral and root chakra. So it deals a lot with fear, it deals a lot with courage, opposite strength on your root chakra, but also deals a lot with guilt and deals a lot with pleasure. So forgive yourself if you ever found yourself guilty in a relationship, and encourage yourself if you ever felt fearful in a relationship, because sometimes we are afraid of relationships that we have. We want to be there, or we just stay there for some reason. We don't want to stay too long, but we don't want to hurt the other person, or we feel that we should be there because we won't find anything else. Go back to those things and just forgive yourself for those moments. It's okay. You can keep on dreaming. You can keep on perceiving the things you like, as long as you're ready for it. As long as if you feel, okay, setting stone. This is a new turning point. This is a new moment for me. I can go on about improving my relationships, leveling myself up in this sense. So one question that actually can summarize this whole concept of this new moon and this eclipse is, how are people in my life and how are people around me expanding me, motivating me, and teasing me in a positive way to pursue my greatest self? How are people in my life pushing me and encouraging me towards my goals, my natural expansion? If there's one thing that's true, as the universe is in constant expansion. You may be a couch potato, binge watching like 8 hours a day of Netflix. You're still in expansion. It's an inward expansion, but it is an expansion. It can just be an expansion of your belly because you're sitting on the couch and eating all day. Just kidding. But there is a constant of expansion in life. So how are people in your life helping you with that expansion? You know, how are they a plus in your life in that sense? How are they motivating you and enjoying the fact that you are yourself, enjoying the fact that you are so unique, enjoying the fact that you are going on about the things that light up your soul? So that question might be the perfect like grasp of the concept that you want to attire here. So how many of us have felt fearful in a relationship? How many of us have felt that a relationship was an inspiration of courage? How many of us felt guilty within a relationship? How many of us felt serene and like in a pleasurable experience and existence throughout a relationship? Let me know in the comments below. Let us share this, because it's so important for us to keep in contact with the fact that some things that we feel that are so secretive, and oh my god, people can't know that I went through this with this boyfriend or this girlfriend or whatever. People shall never know that. Sometimes just releasing it out there to the world is what actually heals that wound within you. That's the beauty of social media in one way. So let me know in the comments below. So to summarize all this, the one thing that you could be asking yourself is, how are people in my life expanding my person and encouraging me to grow, to expand, to level up? That is what you should be seeking with this eclipse and this new moon. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's so important to me to build a big community around astrology and to share this beautiful ancient language that we have and this beautiful tool to know ourselves. Leave me and drop me a like down below. Leave me all your comments. I love reading those. And I wish you the most beautiful week. And always remember, expansion might be the tip for this new moon, but you are always golden.